Quick anime recap. Denji is an unfortunate teenager. As a young boy, following the death of his father by suicide, Denji inherits his father's tremendous debt from the yakuza. The yakuza give him a day to gather 700,000 yen, or else he would die, and it was when he had lost hope that he met his soul companion, Pochita. He sees a devil hiding behind a tree, and doesn't mind dying to it, but seeing it injured, he offers it his blood in exchange for helping him out. Denji decided to become a devil hunter to make needs end. Years later, despite how hard he works, he still lives in rough conditions. He even has to sell various parts of his body, from an eye to even his testicle, to repay his father's debt, but that goal seems so far away. He and Pochita face a tomato devil, and using the chainsaw he kills it. The old man that hired him goes into his payment detail, and explains he will pay 400,000 yen, much more than Denji expected. But then he ruthlessly cuts down the price from various fees and interests and leaves only 70,000 for Denji. With Denji paying his own expenses, that money is further reduced to only 1,800. In a car following him, the old man mocks Denji as a simple dog that obediently follows orders for cash. This prompts the driver to offer Denji 100 yen for eating his cigarette, which he gladly does. As they eat, Denji reflects that he probably won't be able to repay the debt before he dies. He dreams of a day where he can eat bread with jam, flirt with a girl, and fall asleep in each other's arms. Denji seems to be ill as well, as he coughs up blood. His rest is interrupted by the old man who found a hunt. They enter an abandoned factory, but Denji doesn't see a devil. A man stabs through both Denji and Pochita from behind, and the old man explains they've made a deal with a devil. A devil reveals itself as it mocks the yakuza for choosing to become its slave in exchange for its power, which turned them into zombies. It had Denji lured there, so that it can kill a devil hunter, which it hates for killing its kind. Denji attempts to run away, but his injuries slow him down, allowing the zombie horde to reach him, stabbing and chopping him into pieces. His body is thrown into a dumpster with Pochita, but as his blood drips, it drops into the mouth of Pochita and it awakens. Pochita remembers a time in the past while Denji was working, where he admits he might someday die fighting a devil. He shares that he doesn't want to leave Pochita alone to be hunted, and tells it that if he dies, to take his body and use it to live a normal life, just as he dreams of doing. Pochita proceeds to fuse with the body, slowly healing it. Denji awakens, and Pochita talks to him telepathically, saying it loves hearing him talking about his dreams, and in exchange for becoming his heart, it wants him to live out his dream. The zombie devil is surprised to see Denji still alive, and orders the zombies to eat him. Denji reflects he might have been greedy for wanting more in life than what he already had. Before the zombies jump on him, he pulls the cord on his chest, and moments later is transformed. He makes his way to the zombie devil, while the devil cries out in fear and tries to keep him away. It failed, and it gets sawed in half. Seeing the remaining zombies, Denji laughs as he finishes the rest, as he won't owe the dead any money. The next morning, a car stops at the factory, and a woman with two men step out to see the massacre inside. She approaches Denji, and comments that he smells strange, neither human nor devil. He turns back to normal as she hugs him, and she explains she is a devil hunter with public safety, and came to kill the zombie devil. She gives him two choices, either to be killed as a devil, or to live as a human working under her. She promises to make sure he is fed, and under the temptation of food, Denji quickly agrees. While on their way to the public safety headquarters, the woman tells him that she expects only yes or woof as answers, as she doesn't need a disobedient dog. Denji starts to doubt whether she is nice, but as his stomach growls, the woman suggests them getting something to eat, and that she would pay. Denji is also given her jacket to stand out less. As they order their food, Denji feels weak and falls into the woman, and he explains his condition to her. It's a rare condition to fuse with the devil, but she tells him that Pochita is still alive in him, and Denji collapses again. The food has been ready, and Denji fakes that he cannot feed himself, so she feeds him.
Hi. おいしい?
He wants to know more about her, and she finally introduces herself as Makima. He asks what type of guys she's into, to which she replies she likes Denji type of guys. A love-struck Denji arrives with Makima at the Devil Hunter headquarters, and she brags about the benefits of being a part of it. He is given a uniform and is then introduced to his co-worker, Aki, who started 3 years earlier, and will be working with him today. As he is dragged out, Denji insists on working with Makima, and she consoles him, saying if he works hard, they might work together. While on patrol, Denji annoys Aki with questions about Makima, so he has him follow to an alley, and proceeds to beat him up. Aki criticizes people like Denji who are in it for the money, and says without a proper motivation, they will end up dying in the field. He wants Denji to quit, saying he will tell Makima that he ran off. In response, Denji kicks him in the balls. He calls Aki a nice guy. Denji refuses to leave the job, as he lived like a normal person for the first time, and if he could keep this lifestyle, he wouldn't mind dying. Aki tries to fight back, but he goes for his nuts again, knocking him out. They wobbled back to Makima, and despite their disagreement, she assigns Denji into Aki's unit. His unit is experimental, and operates differently, and as Denji is also a devil-human hybrid, she states he fits right in. Aki is also told that he is allowed to kill Denji if he attempts to run, and Denji has his doubts about Makima again, but decides she is a good person for saving him. Denji tries out different jams on his toast, and gets to live a carefree life, annoying Aki to no end as he messes up his house. One day, they are informed a fiend was spotted. As they enter the scene, Denji asks Aki what a fiend is, and he reluctantly responds that it forms when a devil takes over a corpse. Aki wants Denji to kill the fiend by turning into a devil, but he decapitates it with his axe instead. He defends that he wanted it to be as clean and painless as possible, which angers Aki as he states there is no room for sympathy against devils. Aki's family was murdered by a devil and he has a vendetta against them. He rebukes Denji for not taking the job seriously, as Denji reveals he wouldn't mind being friends with a devil if it were willing, as he doesn't have a friend. Alone in the room, Denji finally admits he didn't use his power to protect the porn books, and realizes he needs a new goal since he's already fulfilled his dream. He figures out his new goal: to fondle a woman's plot. Makima assigns Denji a new partner, as patrols usually work as a duo. He is introduced to Power, a fiend that is rational enough to work in public safety. Denji wonders if a fiend can be devil hunters, but one look at her chest was enough to convince him. Because of her horns, they have to patrol areas with less people. Power starts to bother him, but he puts up with it because she looks attractive. When their patrol isn't fruitful, Power mentions that her presence brings fear to devils, so they avoid her. He realizes Aki must have set him up for failure by putting them together, but Power smells blood and starts running. A sea cucumber devil is on scene, and as a man calls for backup, Power smashes it with a weapon she formed from her blood. Maniacal laughter ensues. At the site, Makima informs the duo that if a demon hunter kills a civilian hunter's devil, they would be guilty of obstructing work and be punished. She tells her to think before acting, and asks Denji to keep her in line. As Makima ponders whether she is cut out for the job as a blood devil, Power lies and pushes the blame on Denji for ordering her to kill it. She seems to be very intimidated by Makima as she timidly agrees to everything she says. As Denji buys himself a drink, Power explains she hates humans and can only enjoy the company of cats. She also hates devils, as one took her pet cat, Meowie, away from her. Before she could save it, Makima captured her, but Power refuses to give up on it. She feels Denji wouldn't understand her concern, and Denji agrees that it seems stupid, though he would do anything to grab some plot. Power then compromises with him. If he helps save Miaoi, she would allow him to touch her plot. An excited Denji immediately gets angry for her.
デビルハンターとして許せねえ。そんな悪魔、俺がぶっ殺してやるぜ。
Once they get permission for Power to leave, they travel to the location of the devil. Denji reflects that he lost Pochita, but he's fine as it lives in his heart. Probably meant that literally. Power thinks he's a fool as that's just a euphemism for death. Denji gets annoyed with her, but for his dreams, he puts up with it. In a meeting, Makima notes that her squad has 2 people of interest, but she gets warned to not get attached. In the car, Aki questions her interest with Denji, and Makima explains that the more feared their name is, the stronger the devil becomes. As Denji is a chainsaw devil, she is interested in his ability. As they get close to the house, Denji recalls that Power said she shouldn't be getting close in case her cat is used as a hostage against her. He knew something was off, but he was too slow to react as she knocks him out and drags him inside. She takes him to the Bat Devil, and it criticizes her for keeping it waiting. The devil has hopes that Denji's blood will taste good, and it shows the awakened Denji that it lost its arm, forcing it into hiding. It squeezes Denji in its hand, causing him to spurt out blood into its mouth, but the taste was too disgusting as it throws him away in anger. Power watches on as she states that he is a fool for believing in her story. To cleanse its palate, it looks forward to tasting some other humans in the city, but before it could leave, Power insists she's fulfilled her end of the bargain, and asks him to return Miaoi. It recalls their deal, but as punishment for giving him foul blood, he decides to swallow it instead. She recounts how she met the cat one day in the wild. It was underfed, and she initially planned to fatten it up and eat it herself, but gradually grew attached to it over time. Power tells Denji she finally understands how he feels as the Bat Devil picks her up and swallows her. It starts to fly towards the city, looking forward to its 3-course meal of various humans, but it finally notices Denji clinging to its legs sucking its blood. Knowing the feeling of what it's like to have something precious lost, he empathizes with what Power must have felt. He pulls his cord and cuts the surprised devil's arm. While they fight, the Bat Devil mocks him for protecting humans. But Denji yells that he doesn't care about it as they attack each other. Just when the Bat Devil thought it killed Denji, he hears the revving of the chainsaw. Denji yells out his frustrations of how patiently he was waiting to cope a field. And he rushes up its arm and eventually bisects it open, killing it. Does our hero ever get to squeeze some bountiful plot? Watch the anime and find out.